What went wrong with Indian gaming culture? आओ देखते हैं।
और ले ले मेरा।
Why there is no Indian gaming community? क्या
अरे वाह, ये तो बीबीएस ने भी बोला है।
हमारी इंडियन गेमिंग कम्युनिटी है भी।
I read an article that said that India is going to be the next global gaming giant. They say the industry is going to triple in size in the coming years. But if all that is true, then we have over 500 million gamers here. But the culture, when some of the biggest faces in
500 million gamer?
Indian gaming are famous not for skills or knowledge, but for social media attention. Who does the average gamer even have to look up to? So I started digging to find out what's really up with the Indian gaming culture. And together, I want to try and answer something.
भाई बंदे ने मेहनत करी है वीडियो पे।
Why does the Indian gaming community still suck?
No idea. By the way, सबसे पहली बात तो भाई ने वीडियो इंग्लिश में बना दी इतनी। मेरे लिए तो ठीक है, पर क्या इंडिया के लोगों के लिए ठीक है? लाइक उन्हें इतनी इंग्लिश समझ आएगी? जो पबजी फ्री फायर खेलते हैं उन्हें इतना समझ आएगा? मैं बोलना नहीं चाहूंगा। अरे अपना थोड़ा फेस कैम बड़ा कर लूं यार।
Culture isn't just something you download on your PS5, it's a slow process. We have always been jealous of the US, China and South Korea's gaming community because they had the luxury of time. They have been at it since the 70s. They went through the arcade era, the 90s console war, the birth of LAN parties and actual gaming magazines. They had 40 years to figure out what a good game even looks like. They learned to care about the story, the mechanics and how not to be a jerk in lobbies because they grew up with it. In India, we were directly tossed into the deep end with nothing but a budget smartphone and a cheap data plan. So what does a mature gaming culture actually look like? It's a place where a well-made game is actually treated like a masterpiece. It's a space where people actually debate on a gamer's choice in a story mode game instead of just spamming play BGMI in the chat. The gap between what the rest of the world plays and what India plays is...
भाई ये देखो
The gap
Call of Duty
between what the rest
Genshin
of the world plays
Lies of P तीनों कोटेड गेम चलती नहीं इंडिया में
and what India plays is massive. We have a massive audience but a tiny catalog. But that's just the surface. If you want to see the so-called soul of Indian gaming, don't look at the high-budget trailers. Look at a random, unmoderated lobby at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday. But it's not just trash talk. We've normalized a specific kind of bullying that targets anyone who isn't a hardcore bro. But let's talk about the real elephant in the room: gender. For a woman in Indian gaming, the experience is basically a psychological horror game. The second a girl turns on a mic, the vibe shifts. It's either a bunch of sexist jokes or it swings to the other extreme, the simp culture. Now let me tell you about Payal Gaming.
अभी नहीं बोलूंगा, यहाँ पे रुकते हैं।
She started in 2019. 5 years later, she became the first Indian female creator to hit 3 million subscribers. She got signed to S8UL Esports and she met the Prime Minister to discuss gaming in India. By almost every metric, she's the most successful female gamer in India, but there's a layer to this. Another creator, Zaya, made a comment that triggered a question. How does one creator become massively successful when there are others who are clearly more skilled? And the answer is a simp culture which includes the audience of young men throwing views, votes and money at the most.
Holy shit! अच्छा है भाई, ये तो इंग्लिश में है भाई, तो कैंसिल, इसको तो कैंसिल करेंगे भाई लोग। इतनी क्रेजी बात बोल गया है।
And the community kind of has a point, because Payal is known for reading dirty super chats on stream. She engages with the simping behavior. She does play games, but the focus is often on her appearance and her reactions rather than the gameplay itself. By contrast, Zaya plays genuinely difficult games. She was the first Indian female gamer to get a platinum achievement in Elden Ring.
उस Zaya ने platinum करा Elden Ring? What? Hell no.
Skilled, serious and knows about gaming, but she gets fraction of the views that Payal gets. Then you have Mizo Plays, another female creator facing the same accusations. Farming sims, focusing on appearance over actual gameplay and using gaming as a front for influencer content. Now tell me, Why would a young woman work for 5 years to become a genuinely skilled gamer when she could make 5 times more money by being an attractive woman who plays video games on stream?
मेरे ख्याल से यहाँ पे रिस्पेक्ट भी आती है, लाइक लोग जाया की रिस्पेक्ट ज्यादा करते हैं। मैं तो सिर्फ जाया की ही रिस्पेक्ट करता हूँ। एंड ऑफ कोर्स जो मेरी फीमेल क्रिएटर्स साथ साथ हैं उनकी, एंड जाया की
Gamer when she could
मतलब सब एक ही जो वैरायटी गेम्स खेलते हैं, सिंपल, मेल चाहे फीमेल।
make 5 times more money by being an attractive woman who plays video games on stream. The system is literally rewarding looks over skill. Ecosystem where farming sims has become a literal business model. Huge parts of the gaming content is
Cleavage wins. I mean it
built on this weird, twisted worship where the same guys simping over female creators and donating on super chats are the ones abusing and objectifying.
देखो ये जितने ये नोट है ना, 2500 और 200, 2700 रुपए। अगर इतने 2700 रुपए मेरे को पर स्ट्रीम आ जाए ना, मेरे को चलेगा भाई। मैं लाइफ टाइम वैरायटी गेम्स खेलने के लिए रेडी हूँ। मेरी पर स्ट्रीम में मैं 4 रुपए कमाता हूँ भाई।
Them in game lobbies. At this point, it's just a mob of millions of teenagers and young adults hiding behind screens, finding a new way to be creepy at scale. To understand this mess, we have to look at how India actually started gaming. In the 90s, gaming was a niche underground thing. While the rest of the world was buying official Nintendo consoles, we were going to Palika Bazaar to buy 8-bit clones. We played Contra and Mario on video game sets that cost 500 rupees. Those grey markets were gold mines for us. That's where we traded cheat codes and learned the basics. By the mid-2000s, we had the cyber cafe era. At its peak, India had over 2 lakh cafes. That was our golden age where people actually met up, played Counter-Strike and built real bonds. But then regulations changed, costs went up, and by 2017 the culture had shriveled away. The death of cafe
2017 ही था ना मेरे ख्याल से, जो जब गेमिंग आगे बढ़नी शुरू हुई थी, मेरे ख्याल से 2017।
meant that millions of Indian gamers who couldn't afford a 1 lakh PC were left with nowhere to go. Then came the smartphone. When Jio made internet basically free, the Chinese brands flooded the market with budget smartphones and the doors swung wide open. But this mobile explosion was Mother Miranda in disguise, because we skipped the whole PC and console generation and the community was misdirected. Big companies like Tencent didn't come here to teach us about game design, they came here to make money. They saw a market that didn't know better and unleashed psychological warfare. They used the freemium model to hook kids on dopamine. Remember those stories of kids spending their parents' life savings on Free Fire skins?
I do.
Well, that wasn't an accident. That's a corporate strategy that puts profits over people. And this corporate greed filtered directly into our YouTubers. Our biggest creators were usually one-trick ponies. Techno Gamers was a GTA guy, Gamer Fleet was a Minecraft guy, Total Gaming was a Free Fire guy. But it's not their fault, because the audience also wanted this. This has created a crisis where gaming content is about everything except gaming. It's about social media, beef, internal drama and clout.
भाई थग ने तो इतना कंट्रीब्यूट करा ना भाई गेमिंग में।
It's about everything except
थग ने तो इतना, भाई थग भाई के लिए इतनी रिस्पेक्ट लगती है ना मेरे को कभी कभार भाई साहब। पूरा सोल बनाया बंदे ने भाई साहब।
Social media, beef, internal drama and cloud farming. I mean, look at shows like Playground. It's marketed as a gaming show, but in reality it's just Big Boss with a controller in the background.
मैंने कभी प्लेग्राउंड नहीं देखा, इसीलिए नहीं देखा था मैंने प्लेग्राउंड।
It's shouting and cringe and all sold under the gaming label. And when the average person sees this, they don't see an art form, they see a circus. And the worst part is, we celebrate Western games and Western stories, but ignore our own. We'll hype up a Call of Duty trailer, but won't even mention an Indian dev who had just dropped a masterpiece on Steam. I mean, look at Raji, an ancient epic. It felt like ours. Pahari painting styles, Indian classical music. I mean, this was mythology with real care. It was a massive step forward. And what do so many of us do? We wait for a sale, or we just watch someone else stream it. The truth is, today we live in an India where an Indian-made game about Indian mythology goes viral everywhere else but India. Like Unleash the Avatar.
By Unleash the Avatar. मेरे को पता था ये आएगा, guaranteed पता था ये आएगा.
It got over 100 million plus views, over 1 million like and comments, and 91,000 subscribers within day one of the announcement. But this was on Bilibili, which is basically China's YouTube. And on our YouTube, it got much less attention. So why does China care so much? Initially, the meme started because of the flashy dodge mechanic that looked hilarious. But beneath all the humor, there was genuine support. So many Chinese gamers were saying that this was amazing and they were appreciating an Indian team that was aiming this high. Even Asmund Gold gave it a great review, while some in our community were tearing the game apart for being an early alpha, pointing out
भाई अब तो अनलीश द अवतार इतनी क्रेजी होगी ना, हर एक तारीफ कर रहा है उसकी.
animation issues and placeholder visuals. But in China, they saw the vision, they saw an Indian studio doing something world class, and they showed up for it in numbers we can't even comprehend. And this single moment tells you everything about the difference between a gaming community that builds and a gaming community that just consumes. If you want a better gaming community, we have to stop looking for validation from the West and start validating our own creators. Otherwise, the cycle of bad games for bad community just keeps spinning. So is this game over? Are we doomed to be a toxic, mobile-addicted wasteland forever?
Yes, yes,
Not
yes.
exactly. There's a shift
Exactly,
happening.
bhai.
It's quiet, but it's real. Firstly, the government is finally paying attention to gaming. When the PM sat down with top gamers, it wasn't just for a photo. It was a signal to old-school parents that gaming isn't just a waste of time. Secondly, the variety is growing.
यहाँ तो मैं कुछ नहीं बोल सकता भाई, देखो.
There's a new wave of Indian creators who refuse to stay in the one game trap. They're doing deep dives, exploring indie titles, and building fan bases that value knowledge over clout. And the third and the most important point is Indian publishers are finally using our own mythology, history, and street life to create high quality gaming experiences. These games are making waves globally, and for the first time, Indian gamers are feeling pride that isn't just about esports scores but about a creative vision. But you know, at the end of it, we all have to remember culture takes time, and we've just started building ours. So, does the Indian gaming community still suck? Maybe suck is too harsh a word. Let's say it's
नहीं भाई,
immature.
it sucks भाई, for real भाई.
It's like a teenager going through its rebellious phase. We are loud, chaotic, and obsessed with trends. But here's the good news. In gaming, you can always respawn. We can change the meta. It starts with you, the person watching this video. It starts with expanding your library beyond just shooting games. It starts with calling out the abuse in chat instead of laughing along. And most importantly, it starts with supporting the developers who are trying to put India on a global map. The potential is right there. We have the numbers, we have the talent, and we definitely have the passion. We just need to level up. Okay, that's it for today. Comment down your thoughts.
Thank you,
and
bhai.
we'll chat there.
Why, so good video, yaar, so good.